It's episode 7 of The Platformers. My name is Brian Barnett.
I'm Chris Shriver.
And I'm Martin Galazzi.
So what have you guys been playing this week? Let's start it strong. Let's see what's going on.
Got into that No Man's Sky that these kids are playing.
The No Mansky.
No Mansky.
Seems like a lot of people have been getting into that recently.
It's a thing. I still don't know what it is. I don't really know what I think about it yet.
Ask me if I like it.
Do you like it, Marty?
Marty, do you like it? Okay, see, last week you talked about it, and the way that you talked about it made me think, oh man, I gotta go out and buy this game immediately and get into it.
So sorry for
Did you end up buying it?
I did not end up buying it.
Okay.
Why?
All I know is that when I've been looking out on Twitter, I've seen a lot of... I follow Ryan McCaffrey from IGN.
Mm-hmm.
I like his work. He does really fantastic interviews and things like that.
Yeah, good dude.
Plus, his Xbox coverage is second to none, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's been covering it forever.
Yeah, so I met him when we were in SF and got to talk to him for a while, and he's a real stand-up guy. He's a really cool guy. So he... Basically, all I've seen is like a steady stream of people doing what's called the McCaffrey maneuver, which is landing on a planet on basically nothing. And so, like, they'll land and they'll accidentally land on, like, the top of a tree.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, like, completely ridiculous. Apparently, he did it when he was streaming the game for IGN by accident. And then, since then, everybody's just been tweeting him pictures of them, like, parked on top of stuff that shouldn't be possible.
Just random
Hashtag McCaffrey maneuver, which I think is awesome. And then I saw the one video that somebody sent out that was like the hype for No Man's Sky, or like what we thought No Man's Sky would be, and then it's like looking out and there's like a lush environment and a bunch of dinosaur-looking creatures and a bunch of beasts like that, and then it's like what the reality is, and then it's like one upright-looking donkey thing just like meandering up and down.
The best part about that is, the
talk about the music?
soundtrack. Yeah, go for it.
I couldn't find the one with the video. I only found the GIF.
It was right underneath it. There was a link, and somebody put the Jurassic Park music to it, where it was like all regal, and like panning, and they're like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," do, 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 do. And it's like this lush thing, and then they snap cut to the awkward looking goat person, and it's somebody playing it on like recorder.
Yeah,
or
it's like a
really
harmonica.
It was a harmonica. Yeah.
It was awful.
It was really bad. It was fantastic. You got to look it up.
That's pretty much No Man's Sky. Like I really dove into it, and it's awesome for what it is. But it's like it's a game that I keep going back to, and I don't know why. And I think that's the sign of a good game, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's a great game. Like, it's fine, it's fun, it's really enjoyable to discover new things, but like it's like Minecraft alpha version 0001.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing. Like, this game might be amazing in like 2 years.
That's what I'm hoping, like, right? Like, I really want down the road, like, as they start to patch it, and we saw if anybody had seen the original patch notes for 1.03, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Like when the game launched, how they just completely revamped like everything in it.
Yeah.
And I said it today in the Twitch chat or the Twitter chat that we have. There's a video of Sean Murray on Stephen Colbert, and he's playing the game for him, and the UI is like completely different, and like there's something about like the color seems like a little bit more vibrant. Like there's certain changes that I feel like they made like right at the last second. And I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that it really starts to evolve as time goes on. But
yeah,
I feel like the game. Yeah, I feel like they've been working on just what the core is. Like, and I get that it's a small team and it's taken them 5 years, but now that they have this really strong foundation, I think they can really improve upon that and make something very special.
The first thing that I thought of, like probably an hour and a half into the game, was the first time that I played the Order 1886, when I was walking around and I was like, oh my god, this game is... I can't believe I haven't read anybody or heard anybody talking about this yet. Where, like, oh my god, like, look at the effects and all this stuff, and it's like you're playing a movie and whatever. And it's like that's all great, but it's almost like they forgot to make a game. Like they spent so much time on this engine that like they almost forgot to make a game. Really, what's funny is, Brian, you actually brought up last week, could you land on a planet and then just stay there? And how would it turn out? And Marty said, well, it would probably be really boring. That is all I've done since I got the game. I did the starter planet. I went to another one, and I haven't left. I've been trying to discover every single thing on it. And you were right. It's really boring. And I don't know.
See, I've tried to do that as well because you get rewarded credits, right? Credits are the heart of the game, more or less. Like, the game is almost a trading
money
sim.
over everything.
Yeah, but it's very... but there's no, like, real system that rewards you. Like, you can buy new spaceships from any alien that you see. You can just walk up to their ship and be like, hey, I would like to make an offer on your ship. And so okay, buying a new ship gives you... Yeah, go ahead.
You're just one person. If you buy all these ships, what the heck do you do with them? You just leave your ship wherever it was at?
Absolutely.
Yep.
When you buy a new ship, you just abandon your old ship, which is super weird to me. Like, it seems...
I mean, it makes sense. You can't take it with you. Can't fly two ships at once.
Yeah, but you think you could sell it or scrap it? And no, you're just like, yeah, this ship's just going to sit in this hangar of this space station for the next millennia, I guess. It's just going to hang out there, and that's fine. Like, it's super awkward for me there, but...
So are they going to have a weird No Man's Sky storage wars?
Right, where it's just tons of ships, like...
Where it's just like, dude, this guy left his spaceship here, and he never came back for it. Here we go.
Yep. So we'll see. I mean, the game is really solid for what it is, but there's little things like, while you're in the ship, it actually doesn't render your ship. So, like, it renders the cockpit, doesn't render the rest of the ship.
Oh,
so it's like, how do we have these, like, this is a multiplayer game, essentially, but it's so not. And I feel like they were kind of disingenuous about that. Like, the fact that people couldn't see each other.
Yeah, on that planet, they couldn't see each other at all. So I'm like, so maybe it doesn't matter, because if you're flying through space, you're not going to pass anybody, because you may be literally on top of them, and they're not going to be able to see you.
Did you guys see, so after that happened, everybody started tweeting at Sean Murray, and they were like, oh my god, what happened? You said that, like, we'd be able to see each other. And he was basically just like, wow, two people like went on the same planet. That's crazy. And he just completely avoided the question.
We never thought that would happen.
He's like, nobody expected that to happen.
We made this universe so big so that nobody could ever find each other, and you guys did. Whoops.
Good job.
We didn't test literally any of this garbage because we didn't think you'd ever do it.
I'm not saying
they didn't test for it, because it's fun to say, but like, I'm sure that they probably did that sort of thing. Now, the funny thing is that I heard Anthony Carboni was on Hot Pepper Gaming. I don't know if you guys have watched that.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's really funny.
He did it for No Man's Sky, right?
He did it for No Man's Sky, and the point that he made that I kind of came away with, which actually kind of spoke more to me than a lot that other people have said, is that it's basically 85% of it is every other survival game that you've ever played. And the 15% that separates it is what really makes No Man's Sky No Man's Sky. And he said that so it's basically Minecraft or Don't Starve or like all of those other survival games, except for the 15% that is you flying around. Now, personally, I think that 15. I think that 15%, if that's the case, obviously you guys can both speak way more to this than I can. If that's the case, the 15% is what had me interested in No Man's Sky, because I don't care at all about Minecraft. I don't care at all about Don't Starve. The only survival game that I've ever played that did anything for me was The Long Dark, which I think is still in game preview on Xbox and in early access on Steam or something like that. But I really enjoyed it, and it was like half the art style and half the kind of intuitive and intriguing nature, where you basically you're a pilot and you're flying over Canada, and something happens cataclysmically to the world, and basically you crash land, and you have to try to stay warm, and you crash and you're just in your pilot gear.
Is that the Wolf game? More or less,
it's the one where the cover of it has like the guy with the axe, and then there's a wolf in front of you.
Yeah. So like,
it's really cool.
I wish, like, so much that No Man's Sky would have been even more survivally. Like, it's cool because your ship needs fuel and your life suit needs fuel and your gun needs fuel and all this, but it doesn't ever feel hectic to me.
So it feels more like inventory management than survival.
It's inventory management,
sort of
the game, with unreal beautiful moments sprinkled through. And that's what it is. And that's fine. Like, that's cool, but it's just so... It almost feels empty, like Chris was saying. Like, they almost forgot to make the game. But I'm so intrigued by the way that they've talked about it, and going forward, I feel like there's so much they can do to make this really rich world, even though there's nothing populating the world almost.
No, I definitely agree. And like, well, and I even said my first tweet as soon as I finished playing it for the first like 2 hours or whatever. It was like, how would I describe this game? Surprisingly stressful, because the inventory, like the amount of stuff you can carry is so low. Like,
Yeah,
it's hardly anything at all. And then they're constantly telling you, like, oh, your life support, guess what? You're dying. Like, oh, and you're freezing to death at the same time. And it's just constantly happening. And the whole time I'm just like, oh my God, like, what do I do?
see, and I kind of disagree.
so is it a roguelike?
No. I mean,
So like if you die, you got to start all over?
if you die, it marks where you died in the world, and you just spawn at like a space station or the last point that, like, when you land and do certain actions, it's like load point saved or something, and then when you die, you come back there with your ship, but if your ship blows up, your inventory's gone. And obviously you were in your ship, I don't think your ship can blow up if you're not in it, so your inventory's gone, and you can go find that and get it back. But if you die, your ship's inventory's fine, but you have to go get your inventory. And it's all still there. It's fine. It's just like going and recovering a backpack or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And see, Chris, like, I agree. At first, I was extremely like, oh my God, like, my life support's running out. Oh my God, I'm too hot or I'm too cold. But then as I started to play, I realized, like, those systems take so long to
They do.
wreak any amount of real danger.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's like, 5 plutonium and your environmental controls all the way full.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that at first.
How hard is it to find 5 plutonium?
It's everywhere. It's all
on
over the
every
place.
planet.
Yeah.
Giant red crystals on every single planet.
Yeah.
Which I get, like, you need that. Like,
Here's hoping nobody develops the technology to build a nuclear device.
I mean, you would
with all
unless it was me. Because
all this plutonium all over the place. Let's hope Dr. Emmett Brown doesn't find his way out to any of these planets.
I mean, it's better than
time
dealing
traveling
with
all
all
over the place.
the terrorists at the beginning of,
Oh yeah, he wouldn't have had to deal with the Libyans, to get that plutonium.
They found me. Marty.
I don't know how, but they found me.
I don't know how they found me.
So,
By the way, quick shout out to one of the best trilogies of all time. I just gotta say, Back to the Future. I don't know if you guys have seen it recently. That stuff holds up.
Holds up.
holds up.
intensely.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was way too young to watch it when it came out, and I've only seen it in retrospect, and it's still great.
So good.
That's what the 80s are to me.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's Back to the
I love it when he goes back in time and he's still wearing like his sleeveless like
vest,
puffy jacket. Yeah. And they go back and they're like, is there a lot of water? Is there a lot of water in the future? Is that why you're wearing a life preserver? So good. Anyway, so I got a question, because I'm kind of two minds about the whole No Man's Sky development. Maybe it'll be better later, maybe it'll be different later type of thing.
Yeah.
My first instinct was to get on this game early, because the longer we go, the more stuff's going to have been discovered, the less of the discovery that I can do for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that seems to me to be a really cool part. Like, I don't want to get to it, and I don't want to, like, load into the game, start on the starter planet, which I'm guessing has to be a new planet for you.
I think it
assume
is.
so,
Yeah. I think
just starts in some random area.
I'm guessing.
And then fly to the next planet and be like Planet Starbucks, and then the next one is like Planet Wendy's, and then the next one is like Planet Big Mac. I'm not saying that some weirdo can't just go and name things after his favorite fast food restaurants.
That's fine.
To each their own.
You're never
to each their own.
You're never gonna have that experience.
Yeah, you
like,
won't.
The fact that those people found each other, like, I get why Sean Murray was like, what in the world?
They really
that's
did not think
astronomical.
it could be possible. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that probably had something more to do with the algorithm than actual odds, I would assume.
Yeah.
Starting people in a similar similar area. But with the way that the universe is set up, like, you will not find planets that other people have been to. Like, that's just not really going to happen that often, if ever. And so, like, it might, and that's cool, but you're never going to have that experience of, like, oh, somebody's been to everything that I've done before. But it is repetitive. So, like, you will...
It's very repetitive.
If you wait and see a lot...
So you think I should wait?
I don't know. Like, if you wait and see a lot, it's going to be like, oh, well, I've seen all this online. You know what I mean? But, like, if you discover now, it's going to be very discovery-oriented. So I think it's totally on you.
It's mostly incidental. I'm not going out of my way to discover any of this stuff. To be perfectly honest, No Man's Sky never... In the presentations, the moments that really grabbed me were like the end of Men in Black moment, where he's just like, and I'm on this planet, and I'm gonna fly up into outer space and to this other planet, and then he just like zoomed out, and then just kept zooming out and kept zooming out, and I was like, holy crap!
Yeah,
this is the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life, and if it's empty and you know, mostly devoid of life, that's very similar to the way that our universe is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, granted, like, you know, we play video games. Some people play video games for escapism or to experience things that they could not experience in real life. That's one of the main things that I do. I don't like playing games about, like, rock climbing or scuba diving, because I've done that stuff. Like, I want to play games to experience something that I never could, like being Batman or like going to space. Like, I'm never going to go to space.
Hey,
but I could do it in a game.
I'm going to space. You coming, Chris?
but you could totally be Batman.
You could.
Think about it.
I could totally be. I don't have the martial arts chops to be Batman. Plus, look at me.
Climb a mountain, bro.
I'm not built like that.
Climb a mountain.
Actually, you're old.
I know these biceps are big and impressive, but you know that doesn't mean that I can punch through a brick wall or
audio listeners. They're not.
Make people swear to me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but you know.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, I get it.
So maybe I will wait.
I guess so. I guess my 2 cents. Like, I was talking to my boss about it today. I was kind of equating it to how I think, or how Destiny has been going. With when you think about like the first 6 months of when Destiny was out, I played that game probably 3 hours a night, every night. You know, constantly grinding the same thing, doing this like monotonous work over and over again. And I kind of get that same feeling with No Man's Sky. And in the same light, I kind of get the feeling where even though right now I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm constantly like, oh, I wonder if I tried doing this. Like, maybe, you know, it would improve the experience or...
Change it up at least, right?
Yeah, it would make me upgrade, you know, more quickly or whatever. But it's probably the first game since Destiny that's made me do that.
That's awesome. Like, I guess my problem... with No Man's Sky compared to like Destiny, you brought up an excellent point. Destiny, for me, same thing. I grinded so much Destiny, it's not even funny. Like, put so many hours. I was like 500 hours, you know, in the first 2 months, you know, before, like, with the raid and stuff. Like, it was all consuming. And I guess in Destiny, I felt like there was a goal. I felt like there was like, if I do this, I'm gonna get to this, right? Like,
right.
Oh, I want the Iron Banner rep for this, or I want to do the raid because I know this drops from this guy, or, oh, my light level's almost there, like, oh, my friends have higher light levels. But in No Man's Sky, there's no goal at all. There's no, like, the center of the universe thread, like, it's not intriguing at all, I guess. Like, it doesn't really, like...
You're not interested in what's in the center of the universe?
No, because, like, it's not going to affect gameplay.
Peter Molyneux?
It might be Peter Molyneux. And his cube...
I'm here to announce Goddess.
And he's going to change your life when you get to the center of the universe.
That was a good Peter Molyneux, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I just have no aspiration to get to the middle. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing driving me compared to every other game out.
Look, Marty, it's really very simple. You get to the center of the universe, and it's going to be the greatest thing ever.
We took this incredibly complex idea, and we made it simpler for stupid humans like you to understand.
This is like an Apple presentation presented by Peter Molyneux. It's amazing.
With the iPhone 7S.
Right? You can get to the center of the universe extremely quickly.
It prints toilet paper.
Oh, I want that now. Could you imagine? You're like, oh, I'm out of toilet paper. Thank God I have my phone on me.
If only.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling... One last thing I'll say on No Man's Sky, and then we can move on for sure. I wanted Star Trek, and I didn't even come close. Like, I wanted... Everyone was like, it's an exploration game. It's space. It's beautiful. It's vast. And that harkens to Star Trek 10 times out of 10. And there's no, like... And I get that, like, that was my fault, right? That nobody said that. But the way they described it made it, I guess, come to that in my mind. And like I said...
new life forms.
Exactly.
New civilizations.
The final frontier, bro. Come
Boldly
on.
go where no man had gone before.
Isn't that amazing, though? Like, that's... You just described No Man's Sky. Like, literally. Like, you go where no man has gone before. You find these new, interesting things. But, like, I'm just like...
I mean, it's just...
I'm going to zoom in on you and
take
scan
away
you.
the new civilizations.
Boop, boop.
It's just new... It's just new
Creatures.
life forms.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, there's even new civilizations. Like, on every planet you land on, there's, like... Joe Schmo in his trading shack with his beak and his weird head. And, like...
The first thing that I would be is like, dude, why are you here? There's literally nobody for 100,000 light years.
Except
Like,
there is.
I just showed up because I just was born on this weird planet near here. I
guess-
can't remember how I got there or how I pilot a ship.
Water's
Here's-
on this planet, so I showed up.
Yeah, right? I guess I have another problem. I said one more thing. I lied. I'm a dirty liar. I'm sorry. Like,
6 out of 10 on this planet. Too much water, man.
you land on every planet, and there's trading posts on every planet, and it's one dude sitting at a computer typing away on every planet, and there's, like, a lot of these on every planet that I've seen so far. There's no cities. There's no, like, two aliens, never. I have never seen them in the same room. So, like, this is a universe...
Who's paying that guy? This is a ridiculous franchise.
Right? There's a universe of people hanging out in rooms by themselves, doing nothing, tapping away on a screen maybe, endlessly. And, like, that's cool to discover, but, like, I could not imagine if I landed on a planet and there was a city. Like, that would be so awesome to be like, there's just straight up a civilization here. Nope. Like, it's
Yeah,
just...
none of them are that way. At least
Yeah, well, I
from
mean, you've
what-
only been to two planets, it sounds like.
Well, yeah.
But like, every planet that I've landed on, it's like, go over there for the trading post, and there's an abandoned building there, and there's another trading post over there, and that's the planet. And, like, I've been to, 30, 40 planets, and it's just that, every planet. And there's a space station in every solar system that you can go to, and it's one dude in the space station chilling.
Who is building all these space stations?
There's, like, 3 races of, like, omnipotent aliens that aren't omnipotent. They're like, we've explored the entire galaxy, and we decided to build trading posts. Like, we don't have a city,
That's
we don't
so-
have, like, anything. Yeah, so it's just...
There's no story explanation at all for why these weird
No.
people are just
Story?
sitting on one
Brian,
planet.
Story?
this game
What?
literally starts out, and you like there's nothing. I can't remember other than Destiny's probably the last one. I can't think of another game where it literally just drops you in, and they're just like, "Welcome to the game. This is it.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
what you
like,
get."
You land, or you there, and there's, like, a floating red cube amorphous object, and it's like, hello,
The one on the
you
cover
feel...
of the game?
Yeah, it's like, you feel a urge to go to the center of the galaxy. Goodbye. It's like,
That's it.
okay, I guess I'm going to the center of the galaxy then.
Don't tell me how I feel.
Yeah, right? Well, and there's 2 options. You can be like, yeah, that sounds good, or, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go my own way.
No, you know what? I don't really care about the center of the universe or anything.
And it's like, it's kind of like religious too. It's like, you feel your creator is staring at you through this void of this red cube. Do you choose to go with it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, that's great. And then it's like, oh, that's it. Find some uranium. All right, cool. Granted, there's no uranium in the game, but
Your creator told you, go find uranium.
yeah, exactly.
Go find uranium, Marty. I need uranium.
Pretty much.
Yes, Sean Murray, I will.
He is my creator now. So yeah, like, it's a great game that's not a game that's not great. So I don't even know. Talk to me in a while, I guess. I'll figure
I'm
it out.
Peter Molyneux, and I've hijacked this game. I'm now your creator.
He was just
I
chilling.
need the uranium.
That
He
would
was
be a
hanging out at
harder
home.
game.
Hello Games, being like, look, guys, you made a great game. Get rid of all of it. Go to the center
Like a blue
universe.
blob.
That's it.
A blue blob shows up and it's like, "Hello, Marty. I'm Peter Molyneux."
We've exhausted Peter Molyneux. I like it. So we can never make another Peter Molyneux joke on this podcast.
Serve me now. Ignore Sean Murray. He's lying to you.
Could you imagine? I like it.
Don't listen to the lying Sean Murray. I'm Peter Molyneux.
This game would do well with a good old Peter Molyneux twist, I feel like. Get a little Fable up in here. Not all,
Night Shyamalan twist.
None of that new school Peter Molyneux. Let's get that old school Peter Molyneux. But anyway, we've exhausted the topic.
Yes.
So what else have you been playing, Christopherson?
So I tried out that Pokemon Uranium.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. I was very impressed.
So did I.
Very, very impressed.
So did I.
What'd you think of it?
It's very interesting. It is definitely the darkest story so far.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
It's for adults, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. And also, I like how you don't get to pick your starter. You answer questions, and they determine what sort of a trainer that you're going to be, and then that is how they determine how you get your starter.
Yeah. So let me just preface this whole thing real quick. Pokemon Uranium is it's like a community fan project. It's been in development for 9 years. These people just posted it on the internet. They said, "Here you go. Love you guys." And then Nintendo came out and they were basically like, "Get it off the internet." But you can still find it. It's on like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that last week.
Yeah, but it has like 150 new Pokemon. But you can download it. It runs on Windows. But the one thing, Brian, that I noticed when you do that, you take it's an aptitude test when you're talking to the Pokemon professor.
Yeah.
And it's like, what kind of trainer are you going to be? And at the end, when it picks it for you, it says, "Okay, I accept my thing." And then the other option says, "Wait, what?" And I think if you click that, then you get to just pick whatever starter you want instead of having it pick for you.
My friend
Did you
had to
do that?
read
Because I just accepted.
He I think he did that because he was telling me like he replayed the entire first
It's like 20 minutes
part
or
to get another Pokemon because he didn't like the one that I picked for him. Which one did you get?
I got it's the Raptor one.
Oh, interesting. My rival got that one.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, which one did you pick? The water one?
I didn't pick it. They just gave me one, and it's a water electric type.
Okay.
Cool. I feel like it's way more ingenuitive than Pokemon's almost ever been. So.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there are little things that make it really interesting. Like, typically your rival will always get the type that's going to beat you. This one, at least in my game, I don't know if it's the same for you, Bri. Like, I had the fire one.
They get the one that you're strong against.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. He got...
That was cool.
My rival got the Raptor, and then I used Water Gun and friggin' wrecked his shop.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, your rival's a little bit different in this game because, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if he's going to be your rival, but the place that is usually occupied by the rival that you'll be fighting regularly throughout the whole game it's like a little kid. And so, you win the first battle right after you guys get your Pokemon, and he like starts bawling and goes and locks himself up in his room like he's really like distraught by that because he wanted to be the very best, and he answers his no matter how you answer your questions, he answers his questions very aggressively. Like he wants to be the best trainer, he wants to beat everybody, he wants to have the strongest Pokemon, like that sort of a thing. Yeah, exactly. That was actually one of the options.
Like no one ever was.
Yeah. It's like, do you want to? Like the first line of like, what do you want to do as a trainer? And like the first line is like, I want to be the very best. So it's like it's pretty cool.
But it's very fan made. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a good way. It doesn't.
Yeah,
feel overt,
it's not.
Right?
It doesn't like overstay its welcome. It does a very good job at just kind of like, oh, here's this thing, we love it. Nod to it. Okay, move on.
So let's talk about. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's certain areas where like I feel like the quality is just it's like to the level of like any of the Pokemon games that Nintendo's put out.
Oh yeah.
And then there are other areas where it kind of shows through that it's fan made. Like when you get hit or when you hit, like it's like very abrupt. Like it just kind of like flashes, the health bar goes down and stuff. It doesn't go down smoothly or stuff like that. Like it's very There are like areas like here and there, but like overall the production value is like very high.
Yeah, it looks great.
What's interesting is like it's the first time in a while, probably since like Ruby and Sapphire, that I've actually like, while I'm going through the early stages of the game and you're catching like your Pidgey equivalent kind of Pokemon, that every single time that I encounter a new one, I'm like, wow, he's a cool design. Like I'm actually like impressed with you know, a lot of the character models that they have in there.
Yep.
And then the other thing I picked up on, which I thought was interesting and weird, but all of the music, whenever you travel from town to town or anything like that, you know, typically every Pokemon game you go to a new town, it has a different song.
Yep.
All of that is orchestral. I assume it's just like a MIDI file or whatever that they're like, or they made it in GarageBand or something. But the battle music is the only chiptune that I've been able to find so far. Or at least that
cool,
I
though.
noted down. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's cool that they went back and added that, though.
Yeah.
Like, they kept it, but they kind of refreshed it.
Yeah, they, like, make it their
modern.
own.
Yeah, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a lot of towns, so I haven't really experienced that. But I did think it was interesting that, like, some of the music has been repurposed from other games and others are original.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Like, I like the title screen. I was like, oh, this is obviously, like, from this game. You know, and then, you know, and then there was other stuff, and I was like, well, this is new, and this is new, and the battle music is new, and...
The battle music is awesome.
The cries, they made cries for the Pokemon that are new.
That's awesome.
You know, so there's obviously a lot of love that went into this game. Whoever made it is, like, really good.
They know what's up.
And
Hopefully
not only that, but it's like,
future.
it's refreshing to be able to play a Pokemon game that doesn't just do the exact same thing. I mean, it's the same sort of game, and it's played the same way, but, like, the UI changes that they did, I thought were really, really good. Just, like,
the fact that you get running shoes, like, right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like
you go
that
downstairs
just feels
and
a lot better.
your aunt gives you running shoes immediately.
Yep.
And, like, battling
it's
is really
good.
quick. There's not a whole lot of delay in that. Like, you don't even have to hold anything down. It's just like, oh, this happened. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
The thing that I was trying to say, too, the one gripe that I have is, why can you not full screen it?
I noticed that, yeah.
There's
You can make it
that, and
bigger,
also
but-
you can't.
Yeah,
you
but, like-
can't use a controller, which has been one of my big goofs.
Yeah.
See, that's fine for me. Like, I usually don't mind a keyboard. Like, I'm not taking anything away from it, but, like, the fact that you can't full screen it to me is so weird. Like, I feel like
I thought the
that they're
same thing.
hiding something, which is fine. Like, I totally get it if they gotta, like, hide, you know, the res or whatever. But, like, it takes me out of it a little bit.
It's like a Game Boy game. Like, it's not.
Well, and that's
you know,
the thing.
some
Like,
beautiful game.
a lot of it
No,
seems
it's
like
pretty, though.
No, but a lot of it seems like it's scaled off of, like, have you guys ever played any like rip-off Pokemon ROMs that are out there?
I haven't.
So, like, typically,
This is my first one.
Okay, so typically they're built off of like, there's one that I can't even remember the name of it, but it was off of, like, Pokemon Crystal, and they literally just take the ROM and they will, like, rename Pokemon, and that's all they do, and, like, it's a really really cheaply made thing. This almost seems like they kind of did that, but instead they just kind of, like, bundled in almost like the emulator and the ROM, and then just, like, modify the assets
so
and then just
it's-
build their own game on top of it.
So it actually might be like running an emulator instead of it being an app for Windows.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's
Okay,
what it's doing.
I could see that. I could see
It
that.
kind of feels like that, so that sounds plausible.
And then when
it's
you-
so frustrating.
Yeah, and when you, like, make the screen bigger, you can actually see, like, the pixels aren't crisp when you, especially when you go, like, the max size. Like, it does get kind of blurry.
Okay, so maybe that's, like I said, why they needed to,
They want to maintain the quality.
Yeah.
which I get. That's fine. But anyway, so yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
What
Nice
have you
little
been
treat.
playing, Brian?
So I was playing through a while ago. I started playing through the Megaman games.
Okay.
Because I played them a lot when I was a kid, but I was never able to beat any of them. So I went back, and starting with Mega Man 1, I wanted to be able to play through and beat all of the games in the Legacy Collection. So I started with 1, went through, worked really hard, beat it. Started 2, worked through, got stuck a little bit on the on on one of the bosses. Came back later, was able to do it. Not that much later, like a couple of days or what have you. Then went through Mega Man 3, got to, I can't remember which Dr. Wily stage it was, but it was the one that ends with Yellow Devil. And I don't know if you guys know anything about Yellow Devil in Mega Man.
In Mega Man 3, you mean?
Yellow Devil in any of the Mega Man
Oh, well,
games.
yeah.
He's also in Smash Brothers on the Mega Man stage. He's the giant yellow, like, Goliath with, like a Cyclops eye and stuff like that. Basically, what happens is you go in, like in every boss fight in Mega Man, you walk in, the door locks behind you, and there's a boss in there, and you gotta fight him. In this one, in the Yellow Devil fight, you walk in, and there's nobody in there. And then all of a sudden, these yellow orbs start flying from the other side of the screen. And you have to dodge them because they do a lot of damage if they hit you. And basically, they start to form this giant yellow monster on the right-hand side of the screen. Once it fully forms, his eye opens, at which point he's vulnerable. He shoots one shot at you, or two, closes his eye, at which point he becomes invincible again, and then starts little bit by little bit flashing across the screen and reforming on the other side of the room, at which point he will open up his eye, which is the only time he's vulnerable, and then shoot you again. And it just does that over and over again until you're dead or you beat him, and he's really, really hard.
So is this your first time doing Yellow Devil?
He's in one of the earlier games.
Because there's an exploit. Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I thought he was in 1. Because do you know about the exploit in 1?
Where you do Elec Man's weapon, and then you just pause.
Right.
Yes, you can't do that in this one.
Okay. But he does have a pattern.
What
in
is
this
this?
one. What's that?
This is Mega Man 3.
3, okay.
Yeah, he's talking about
Mega Man 3. In Mega Man 1, I beat him that way.
Yeah.
Where you do the select, and then as long as the Elec Man's electricity beam is touching his eye, it keeps ticking the damage. And you can beat him in like 2 shots if you just keep pausing it.
Yeah.
I like that. You can't do that in this one. You have to beat him legit.
But he does have like a consistent pattern?
What's that?
He does have Okay.
He has a consistent pattern. It's just I kept getting hit by these things, and for whatever reason, I just could not get past him. Well, it's been a couple of months since then, and I was just like, you know what? I want to play it. So I pulled it up on Xbox. I have the Legacy Collection on Xbox One, and so I pulled it up, loaded up the save, walked forward 1 step, loaded into the room. He started warping across the screen, and I beat him.
Like first try?
First try back.
That's awesome.
And then I went forward and beat the rest of the Dr. Wily stages. Died once on the first phase of Dr. Wily, and then I ended up beating him. Beat Mega Man 3.
You just saw the Matrix. You were like, I'm in there.
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
I am Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
So before this, I was like, well, I think I like Mega Man 2 more than Mega Man 3. Because I was actually able to.
Because you could beat it, yeah.
I didn't get stuck on it, and I'm not gonna say a game is better if I can't beat it. You know what I mean? I can't judge it unless I'm looking at the whole game. So, but now that I've beaten this, I'm like, it's actually pretty good as well, and the fights are like really interesting, and really difficult. So I got through that, and now I'm stuck on no, I was stuck on a boss in Mega Man 4. I was stuck on Ringman. And then I don't know what the heck happened. I just
savanted that one too,
and beat him. So I'm still working my way through Mega Man 4. So if anybody hasn't played the Mega Man games, Mega Man Legacy Collection is like $15 on 3DS digitally or on Xbox One or PS4. I don't know if it's on PC, but it's really, really good. And it's got a lot of cool stuff on it. I picked it up on 3DS as well, so I can play on the go.
Nice.
And I just don't like it as much as using my Xbox One Elite controller, because it's the greatest controller ever conceived by man.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So basically, that
coming off that really quick with have you guys noticed that like when you take a break from any sort of specifically gaming activity for me, it gets so much easier. Like when Vault of Glass in Destiny was new. Me and my, 5 friends, my raid team, we all night, like 6 hours trying to kill Atheon, the last boss. Like, we knew what we were doing, we knew how to do it, but like over and over and over and over wipes. And we were like, look guys, whatever, let's just take a break, we'll come back tomorrow, we'll come back fresh, we'll give it a few attempts, see what happens, First attempt on the comeback. easy as can be.
I really
Totally
think that
destroyed.
like gaming fatigue is a thing. It has to be, right?
Yeah, because like you guys have both had that happen, right?
Oh yeah.
Where you're like,
It's not-
give a break, and
it's
then
not-
boom.
It's not just that. There is actually a psychological principle, and they've done studies on sleep patterns and things like this. And this is where some of my schooling is going to come through. But there's actually a part of our brains that trains us with our dreams. So like, you can go like they've done tests about like they'll have you play a video game of like playing a skiing video game and trying to do the slalom properly and go in between the flags and stuff like that. And they'll drill you, and it'll be like hours and hours and hours that they'll do it. And then you go to sleep, and the person will like maybe dream about doing that. Now maybe they remember it, maybe they don't. We don't remember most of our dreams, but everybody dreams every night.
Yeah.
You just don't remember it. And then they wake up, they test them first thing in the morning, and they always test better. Like always.
That's
and it's
interesting.
because that's there are theories out there of like that's why people have dreams in which they're chased all the time. Or that's why you have dreams where like people are hunting you and trying to kill you. It's your brain and your body trying to train you so that when you get into that sort
You're
of a
just like a
circumstance,
ninja. You're ready to
you'll
go.
be able to do it.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
It's like a survival. It's a survival thing that even even when you're unconscious, you're still trying to better yourself. So and whatever you believe about whether you believe in gods or whether you believe in evolution or something like that, I think it's a really interesting thought that sort of thing happens. Now I don't know if that's the way all the time, but I know that like I play the drums, and I've played the drums since I was like 10 years old. And I play every week, but that wasn't always the case. Sometimes I would go for months without being able to have access to my drum set, and when I came back after like a prolonged break, I was always faster, I was always better, I was always able to do stuff that I wasn't able to do before. And I've always been curious about that sort of a thing, and I didn't know whether it was just because when I listen to songs, sometimes I'll play air drums, and since I actually know how to play the drums, playing air drums is basically the same thing. The only thing is the drums aren't there for me to hit, but I know where everything goes.
Yeah.
So like me playing air drums is basically the same as practicing playing the drums.
That's weird to think about.
You know,
but yeah,
so-
makes sense.
Or if you sing along with stuff in the car, like you're gonna be better, you're gonna be stronger, you're gonna be able to sing longer and stuff. And then if we've got our minds thinking about other things, maybe there's some sort of something processing in the background. But
So I have this like
Anyway.
superpower from biology to allow me to train in my sleep, and I get better at video games. That's what it's like. You are going to be the best Destiny player, but only while you sleep. That's terrible. Come on,
Evolution
brain.
has brought us to this point.
it
on.
works. I mean, it works. It works on other things besides that.
No, just for me.
you're-
It's just games for me.
And you,
You're a
Marty.
more charismatic person than you were yesterday. Maybe if you have
maybe.
dreams about talking to people.
Yeah, but only over Xbox Live Chat.
Yeah, exactly. You're only better at talking to trolls.
Yeah, right. That's funny. So you were saying you were
Yeah.
playing something else?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I've recently, as you guys know, I recently built the PC. I got into PC gaming, and I was really, really excited. I started surfing around Steam and GOG, which is Good Old Gaming, I think.
Yep.
Good Old Games.
Yep. Good old games.
I think it's Good Old Games. Anyway, so I
said
saw
that with
something.
authority. I don't know. I
Yeah,
think it's
well-
good old games.
Hey, if we don't get sued, then we'll know we're all right.
Yeah.
So basically, my eyes caught sight of something that was a throwback. A throwback in, put me in a time machine, sent me back to when I was in high school, playing a really sweet game.
Back when they were building the
called-
pyramids.
Back when they were building the pyramids, exactly. I know how it was done, I just haven't told anybody.
Gotcha.
So, and it was a game called Nox.
Okay.
Which is a top-down action RPG. Not really like Destiny, or not Destiny, Diablo.
Okay.
But kind of. It's way more fast-paced than Diablo. But it's also, I don't know, it's just really different. But I was really, really excited, and so I installed it, tried to get it up and running. Problems. It wouldn't work. and so GOG has a policy of, if we can't, they won't do a return after a certain amount of time like Steam will.
Yeah.
But they have something where it's like, if you can't get it working in the first 30 days, we'll just refund you your money if we can't get it working as well. And so I found out after talking to somebody that it doesn't work with my operating system.
Oh. Windows
and
10?
I'm using Windows 10, and I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, come on.
What year is the game from?
It's like
early 90s?
No. How the heck old do you think I am?
You said it was like Diablo. I assumed it came out around the same time.
No. It was like 2000 and...
Oh, so you're talking like Vista, that weird period.
Yeah, that's like pretty new.
No, but you know what? It's weird. There's like a lot of games from that era that because of where Windows was at, they like don't run properly.
Yeah, I got it.
Halo 2's that way.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look this up.
Give a quick googs.
Yeah.
But it's on...
Oh, Nox got an 8.9 on IGN, Editor's Choice.
Wow. Excellent. But it's on Steam, right? Or good old game.
Release date, February of 2000.
Okay, so it's a 16-year-old game.
Yeah,
so that was what?
That's got some time.
That was XP. So, I mean, you could probably run it on a VM if you really wanted to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave me a refund for it, but I still got it installed on my machine. I haven't installed it yet, so I don't know. We could try it on something else, but
yeah, play around with it if you really were into it.
Yeah.
That sucks though that you didn't get to play a little snippet of your past.
Yeah, it's beat.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just wanted to put out a recommendation. This is a freaking fantastic game, and it's actually it's kind of funny as well.
Okay.
It's got like, just the opening is like, the opening gives you an idea of like what you're gonna get into. But it's a really cool game. So if you have an opportunity to check out Nox,
if you have Windows XP still installed, give it a chance.
Yeah, if you get a chance to try it out. It's a fun game. My buddy Drew Lamara and I used to play it. Shout out to Drew Lamara, living in Pennsylvania now.
Oh, what up?
Yeah, he was in the Army, Navy, Air Force,
some sort of military.
He was in the armed forces.
Blessed military.
To avoid insulting all of the men in blue,
men and women,
green,
men and
women,
and
gray.
women,
men and women. In
what
blue
did I say?
You said
and men.
You're a misogynist, but it's okay. We got you.
No. Drew is a dude. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah,
no, we know that.
We're
talking about what?
Wait, are we sexist, Chris? Because we assumed that
Drew was a female.
Drew? No, we assumed that he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
We assumed that he was a
I see
man.
what you're saying.
God, we're the worst.
Look, man, there's a lot of assumptions flying around all over the place. So let's just
calm it down. Calm it down.
All the people in the armed services, we thank you. We thank you for your service, and we hope that you enjoyed Nox when you were in high school as well.
Exactly.
And if you didn't, go get a copy. It's like $5.
So that's all you've been playing.
So that's not all I've been playing.
Okay,
I spent
excellent.
the majority of my time this week dipping into a little spookiness called Darkest Dungeon.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I wanted to hear about this. This seemed cool.
Oh yeah, it is very, very cool. Okay. So just delete my previous comments about this game and my previous so-called knowledge about this game, because let me tell you, I've touched the eldritch truth, and I now know what this game is. It is awesome.
I don't know what eldritch truth means, but that's cool.
To any Lovecraftian fans out there, you'll know what I'm talking about.
All right, well.
So previously, Bloodborne was like, I was like, this is a Lovecraft game. But let me tell you, Darkest Dungeon gives it a run for its money.
All right.
As far as being Lovecraft as all hell.
Is that a selling point for you? Do you really enjoy that type of storytelling? Or is it just interesting?
I didn't know that I did until recently, but it's becoming a thing for me.
Okay.
It's just the central ideas of like Lovecraftian horror are that the pursuit for knowledge isn't always a good thing.
Yep.
And that there is some knowledge that you can gain that changes you in a very real and negative way. And basically, one of the books that he wrote, I think it's called A Call from Beyond, is basically the main character has a friend who's been into like fringe science for a long time. And he hasn't talked to this guy in a long time. He kind of withdrew from him. But basically, he kind of touches base with this guy. He gets like a frantic phone call, and he ends up going down to the guy's house. And basically, this guy has invented something that lets him see things that are here, but we can't see.
Okay.
And so he basically turns this machine on, and all of a sudden, he can see all of these crazy-looking creatures that are existing in the same space that we are. So, like, they're all, like, overlapping, bulbous, creepy-looking, sinister creatures, and then they're, like, floating through him, and, like, they exist in the same space that he does all the time. You just never see them.
Okay.
And, like, that knowledge, and the knowledge that if these things see you, they'll just consume your life essence to fuel whatever, you know, they're indifferent to you until they notice you, and then once they notice you, you're basically just food. Like, you basically are completely meaningless. It's like that sort of knowledge of like mankind's actual place in the universe, that is like horrifying.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you had to live with the knowledge that there were creatures stalking you that you couldn't see ever, and like that was just your life from then on, you know, or that there was like different crazy, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into this, but it's basically like there are creatures that are so powerful that even you knowing about them will destroy you.
Okay.
And that's like a lot of what Lovecraft is. It's like just horrifying things happening to people just because they knew something or saw something or heard about something.
Just quick aside, real quick. Have you
Yeah.
started watching Stranger Things?
No.
Okay, you should do that.
It's on my list. We've got.
You should do it soon. I'll just leave it at that.
We're finishing up season 6 of Game of Thrones. We're on like episode 7.
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
Good.
We're gonna
Okay.
finish that out.
Do that.
We're gonna finish that out, and then I'm also, I think, wrapping up Daredevil season 2, and then I'll start on Stranger
Okay.
Things.
Good.
It ties into
Continue.
that.
Thank you.
That's the only reason I asked. But okay, back to
Cool.
Darkest Dungeon. Sorry.
That sounds awesome. So Darkest Dungeon is it's a different type of dungeon crawler than I've ever played before. So basically you start out, and I think you got like 2 guys, but it's kind of a roguelike.
Is it
like,
party based?
yes,
Okay.
Single player though.
it's party based. What's that?
Single player though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Party based
100%.
RPG. Gotcha.
Yeah, so basically what you do is you start, and I had 2 characters, Renault and Dismas. Renault is a knight with armor, and Dismas is a guy who has like a gun.
Okay.
So you can take 4 people with you into the dungeons, and based on what abilities they have like, so like, you ever played a Final Fantasy game, like the old ones? The old ones where it's like you have some people front row, some people back row.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody in this one is in a line.
Okay.
So like front to back, because you're walking through, and it's a side scroller.
turn based.
It's turn based once you get into battle.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're walking forwards or backwards in the hallways. Now, there are 2 primary meters that you have to concern yourself with, and this is where Darkest Dungeon starts to differentiate itself from other systems. So, like, you've got your health, which is fine and dandy. Everybody knows about health. You lose it all, you die.
Hey,
Except
health.
not exactly.
Everyone knows
Then-
about this system, but not really.
Well, I mean, everybody knows about a health-based system.
of course.
It's pretty straightforward in this one, but there's like a wrinkle.
Few caveats. Gotcha.
Just one, really. In that, like, when you get to 0, you don't die necessarily. When you get to 0, you're, quote, at death's door.
Okay.
And then anytime you get hit while you're at 0 health, there's a chance that it will kill you.
Okay. RNG.
But when you get to 0 health, and there's a possibility for you to either do one of 2 things. Either, like, rally and gain a positive attribute, or fall into despair and gain a negative attribute.
Gotcha.
And this also has to tie in with the stress system, which is the secondary system along with health. So you've got your health and you've got your stress. And as things happen to you, so like if you're there are certain types of attacks, like just getting hit by like a sword or something like that is not going to increase your stress.
Okay.
But getting, like, there are some enemies that have like goblets filled with blood, and one of their attacks will be to throw it in your face.
Okay.
That's going to increase your stress.
Yeah.
So, did you catch that, Chris?
No, I'm sorry. I've had a cold for like a
Literally
week. I'm just trying to. Sorry.
Okay. So basically what I was saying is there's a health system, there's a stress system.
Okay.
So if you get hit by like a normal attack, it's not going to stress you out. It's not going to add to your stress meter. But if you, like, there's an enemy that has like a goblet of blood, they throw it in your face, that's going to increase your stress.
Okay.
Your stress meter goes up pretty steadily, and it goes up more the further you are into the dungeon. Your stress is increased by several factors. You have to take food into the dungeon, and you have to take torches into the dungeon, because they're not kidding when they call it Darkest Dungeon. As you walk, your torch diminishes, and you'll get certain effects based on how dark it is or how light it is. The lighter it is, the brighter you keep it, the easier the enemies are, and the more stuff you're going to find.
Okay.
The darker it gets, the harder the enemies are, but the better stuff you're going to find.
Okay.
So
That's
like,
kind of a cool system to do.
Yeah, it gives you an incentive to make the game harder.
Yes. But let me tell you, after playing, I've played this game for 6 weeks in-game time, and which I think means that I've done 6 missions and gone back. I think they roughly estimate that it takes about a week to do a mission.
Okay.
And then between each mission that you go out on, and it'll be things like explore 90% of the rooms in this keep or something. And then once you've achieved that goal, you can continue exploring or you can warp back to town. Typically, once you've achieved the goal, there's not a whole lot that's going to hurt you in the dungeon because you've already beaten most of the people. So I'll typically just look around, but then I kind of found out that you're not really missing out on anything by leaving straight away.
Gotcha.
Most of the time. So then I'll just go back. Well, if people get too stressed out, they start to develop fears and different things like that. So like there's this one guy who Renaud, my knight, he started with a quirk that was he prefers he relieves more stress when we get back to town by praying.
Okay.
So then I went and I stuck him in to pray after a particularly stressful mission, and then that solidified, but not as a positive quirk, as a negative quirk, and it became something where now he can only relieve stress by praying.
Ah.
So like there's
It's
like
evolving.
meditation. Yeah, there's meditation, there's prayer, and there's flagellation, which if you don't know what flagellation is, it's when people like scourge themselves. Like they take like a whip with like they'll whip themselves and hurt themselves to kind of make up for their sins.
Yep. Penance.
It's one form of penance, yeah. And so then there's like the church where you can do those 3 things, and then there's the inn or whatever, the bar where you can go and you can drink, or you can gamble, or you can go to the brothel. And so each of these things, they cost a different amount of money for you to be able to do them, and they have different effects. So like
It's not always a best clear path kind of thing.
it doesn't seem to me like there's any that are better than the others.
Gotcha.
One of Dismas, the guy that uses a gun that I stick more in the back row because he prefers to do that. A quick touch on that: based on the move set that your people have, which you can change, they will prefer to be at a certain point in the line. So like Renault is a knight. He's got a lot of melee abilities. He prefers to be in the first 2 slots. But if I change his abilities, he may be like, okay, now I actually really want to be up front, or now I can go maybe be the second person in line.
Okay.
And then my gunner wants to be, further back. And there are certain moves that can only be used when you're in a certain position. and there are enemies that can jack with your position. There's one that's got like a tentacle attack, and it like pulled my party from the back to the front, and then all of a sudden they can only use one of their moves, and they can't use their best ones.
Oh wow,
Okay.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then there's other things that we can do, like there's a whip attack that I have that like can jack people out of order as well, the enemies, because the enemies have the same restrictions that we do.
Gotcha.
But when you kill people, they fall down into a dead body, and the dead body is in the position that they were in.
Ah.
So like the idea of like attacking a dead body to destroy it so that it brings an enemy closer to me is a strategy.
Okay.
And then there are certain abilities that will clear a dead body or that will clear all dead bodies. So there's like a lot of stuff going on.
Real
in this game.
deep.
There was a religious character that I had a heal. She's the only person that I had a heal with, and so I used her for like a really long run, and she got really stressed out by the end of it, and she ended up developing. She was the type of person who would normally pray, but there's a caretaker that is like kind of overseeing the village before you get there, and whenever you go back to town, he's using one of those things.
Okay.
So like I came back and he was in the prayer room, or he was in the meditation room, so I couldn't put her there, and she gets more stress relief from that. So I put her in the brothel. And then after she got done being in the brothel, I came back from the next mission, and she got a negative quirk called, I think it's called love interest. And so now she'll only go to the brothel, even though she gets more back from meditation.
Gotcha.
So like
That's
there's a bunch
really
of
interesting.
weird, yeah. And then I had one of the guys gamble, and he got hooked on gambling, and he actually got kicked out. So now he's not allowed to gamble anymore.
But he's
addicted to it.
Gotcha.
Oh geez.
That's
And then-
interesting.
And so after that, he kind of cooled off on that, and then I sent him to the bar, and he got drunk, and then he just left town. He disappeared. So I didn't have access to him,
Wow.
and he's still not back.
That's
I don't know
crazy.
where the heck he went. So yeah, so like, and each week that more people come in on a wagon, and you can like pick them up, and you can upgrade your ability to recruit more people per week or have a bigger roster. So like you start off, and basically what you have to do is you go on a mission, you come back, you put the people that you just got off the mission with. If you don't have a way to relieve stress, which there are ways to do it. There's a jester character that can play his lute, and that will relieve a certain amount of stress every
While
turn.
you're in the dungeon.
While you're in the dungeons,
Okay.
yeah. So that I used that a lot in one of my runs, and so then I was able to come out of that run and then use my characters again the following week. But some of them were pretty jacked up, so you want to take a break, because
Gotcha.
if they cap out on stress, the higher stress they get, they'll start like yelling weird things. Like they start hearing voices and stuff, and they start yelling about it and like acting really strange, or they'll ignore your orders, or they'll pass on one of their own turns. And like as they do that, like they'll scream about hearing somebody behind them, or like saying, "No, I'm not going to kill the people that I travel with," and that increases the stress of everybody in the party.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
So it starts like a cascade failure effect. It's nuts. Like this game is crazy.
Yeah, it's super deep, it sounds like.
Yeah. And there are certain types of attacks that give more stress. So like there's like a sorcerer, and it like summons tentacles that appear from nowhere and like hit people from above, and that is really stressful. So it increases their stress by like 29 or something, whereas a normal like a goblet of blood to the face would give you like 5 or 6 stress.
Gotcha. I mean, we don't want to go too deep into it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
But like you get the idea.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
It sounds
And you keep
awesome.
discovering weird things, and you can open up different parts of town and stuff like that. But anyway, so I'm really hooked on it. I just beat the first boss, and almost all of my people died.
Fair enough.
I pulled through by the skin of my teeth, because it was the first boss is a necromancer, and he summons 3 skeletons, and you kill them, and then they collapse into the bodies that they normally do. But then he's a necromancer,
Yeah.
so the next attack he does raises them all back up to life.
Gotcha.
And he pushes himself back to the back of the line, so he's really hard to hit if you don't have range characters.
Gotcha.
So it was just an uphill battle the whole time, and he's getting stronger and stronger. and like your guys are getting more and more stressed and freaking out and wigging out and like maybe attacking each other and stuff. Like it's crazy. Like if you like RPGs and you like
old school RPGs,
it's not. And here's the thing: it's not old school. Like it's not like 8-bit or anything like that.
No,
like the art style is beautiful. Like it all looks like hand drawn and stuff. Like it looks gorgeous.
Old school style RPGs, I guess. Sorry.
As far as like the basics, but man, the gameplay has been refined to such an extent. Like I couldn't even believe it. And I think this was like a Kickstarter game or something.
That's great.
I know it's indie. I know it's extremely indie, but
they did some sort of a crowdfunding campaign. Anyway, so I just wanted to say, if you're into like RPGs at all and want to see a really cool twist on like an old, maybe early, like maybe Final Fantasy 1 type thing, but from a different sort of a format and with a lot of really, really cool ideas, like check out Darkest Dungeon. This game is really, really cool, and I'm definitely going to be playing a whole lot more of it. So
awesome!
I highly recommend it.
Marty, what do you had going on lately?
I was in the little No Man's Sky funk, doing that, playing a little bit more than I wanted to. Like I just felt like I needed to play it, and then I was just like, yeah, whatever. So I jumped back on WoW, and I've really been enjoying WoW since the pre-patch. They really hit the nail on the head with the quest lines, with the lore, bringing all the feels really quickly.
Those videos in the on the scenarios that they did, are really, really good.
Yeah, so there's like an hour and a half quest line that kind of bridges the story between the current expansion and the one coming out really soon now. Comes out on the 30th of August, so really looking forward to that and just kind of getting all my ducks in a row to jump headlong into WoW, which is probably going to be mostly what I play for a little while. It's always consuming at the beginning of an expansion, so that's really it. I've kind of been reading more this week. Been reading Seven Eves. Finished it actually. It's a Neil Stephenson book. It came out in 2015, and it's absolutely amazing. If you guys like sci-fi, like sci-fi as in like near future. It's not like exploring the galaxy,
not like Ender's Game or something like that.
It's near future. The first line of the book is the moon exploded, so it's like it's right. It gets going. And a lot of Neil Stephenson books are slow. That one's not. It really picks up. It has amazing through line, and I get lost in some Neil Stephenson books sometimes. I kind of get I lose the thread, if that makes sense. And this one just kept going, kept me on the path, kept me intrigued 100%, and was really fantastic. So I do recommend it if you haven't checked it out. It's on Audible. It's really good on Audible. So give it a check, and that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Sweet.
I got a short week.
Nice.
Yeah. So what's up in the news? I know there was some Destiny stuff, some more. Not a ton, but just a little more leaks about Rise of Iron stuff.
Yeah, I think they announced today some of the new stuff they had coming out for that. They finally announced that they're releasing a bundle that is basically just like all of the Destiny DLC. If you haven't picked any of it up, like any version of Destiny up at this point, you're gonna be able to pick that up. I think it's like $50.
Yeah, which is really, really good value in my opinion.
Oh my god, yeah. I was saying to a guy I met in the fire team from like a mutual friend on Sunday. I was like, I couldn't imagine picking this game up even now and just being like, oh, here's all the stuff you have. Like, here's just everything you get to do now. Yeah. And he actually said he got it like a month ago and he's just blown away.
The thing that I have a problem with doing that now though is like nobody's doing Vault of Glass. Like, nobody's doing the Crota raid.
No.
So it's cool that you can go back and play through the story, but there is no story until you get to the Taken King.
Right.
Really.
Right.
And then Taken King's pretty amazing, in my opinion, for story and for gameplay. So it's like, it's cool that it's $50 to get you to where you need to be to enjoy the game, but the content there is never going to be... The content, is never going to be up to par with like what it was.
No, and
You know what I mean? Like, it's
and
never
one of
gonna
the
be like new, you know. So.
yeah, one of the things he was saying he really liked about it was that he'll like if you go into like a strike playlist, he'll he went through all the Taken King stuff and just kind of focused on that. But when he started doing all those, he realized how much content there was that he hadn't even touched yet.
Yeah.
And then he's on Dads of Destiny, so he started reaching out to some of the guys on there saying, if anybody's been thinking about picking this up, let me know. And now there's like a group of them that are kind of going through the game together that way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really
So I
cool.
think that's a cool way
a
to
great
go
way
through
to do it. Yeah. And it's cool that there are places like that to jump in and find like-minded people and people that are in your same position. What do you guys think about Rise of Iron? I know we kind of talked about it last week, the week before, but what are your opinions? I know, Brian, you said you're not really coming back, but...
I mean, unless they do something really spectacular... For me, it's kind of like WoW, except like I'm not really in the mood for the gameplay loop of Destiny right now. But like anytime there's an expansion, now granted I didn't do this for the last 2 expansions or maybe even 3 expansions for WoW.
Yeah.
But typically when there's an expansion, the idea for me is. At this point in my life, since there's so many other things that I want to experience and play, I don't want to just sit and do the same stuff over and over again. So maybe I'll go through, I'll play these things. I'll get up to the level. I'll do all the, the instances. I'll do all the raids, just to experience the content. And then if it doesn't hook me, then I'm out. But I don't know if Rise of Iron's doing anything different. I haven't really listened to anything, just because there's no real draw. I don't feel anything drawing me back to Destiny. Now, if we're all going to play together, I think that'd be pretty awesome.
That's probably that's probably what's going to draw me back in. Like Josh has been. I mentioned it the other day in the Twitter chat that I was thinking to do it, and our friend Josh was he streams it pretty frequently. He's like the guy.
He is like straight crazy for Destiny, which I do not understand.
But I mean, good on him.
Like, to each their own.
Yeah. He also has a random Disney podcast we should probably plug. It's called The Main Street Bugle.
I did not know that.
If you're into Disney.
What do they talk about?
Yeah, Disney.
No, but like movies and stuff? That's cool.
Yeah, like everything Disney. So check that out if you're into Disney.
Wait, what is it called?
It's called The Main Street Bugle.
I'm subscribing to this right now.
Yeah, Josh is a great guy. Check him out if you're into Disney. So, that's a little fun tidbit.
And if you're into talking about things that are not Disney,
stay right here.
Then definitely subscribe to the platformers now on iTunes and Google Play.
Yeah.
And
wherever
and everything.
And whatever else I signed us up for.
Yeah, wherever podcasts are listened to, you shall find us.
What is it now? So it's SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
And there was one more, I don't even remember the name of it, because I don't think they ever confirmed that we signed up for them. But I had never.
Are we
heard
on
of
Zune?
Them.
Are we on the Zune Marketplace?
Zune? Yeah, you can
listen. Don't joke about Zune Marketplace. All right, I beat that drum real hard when
you
Microsoft
can go to our
put those things to
GeoCities
rest.
page.
My buddy Aaron had a Zune.
I did too.
You can check us out. You can check us out on MySpace. On GeoCities.
GeoCities.
On AOL Instant Messenger.
I'm gonna blog about it on my Zanga.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, what else do we want to talk about, friends? You want to talk about our live journal? Hey, George R. R. Martin still has a live journal, so it's still relevant. All right,
still relevant.
George
still
Railroad
yes.
Martin,
just like George Railroad Martin, is still relevant.
Hey,
you don't
talk
Chris, smack. From what I understand, you wanted to hit us with a new segment.
I did. I wanted to try something out this week. So as we record,
we'll see if it works.
This Tuesday of August the 16th. These are some of the... I wanted to kind of plug some of the deals that I've found on the internet for just games and accessories and just random crap that I tend to find whenever I'm just trying to kill time.
Yeah, and we'll definitely throw these. We'll throw these in the description of the SoundCloud, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Throw them to the. Throw Brian some more work.
Oh, come on, guys!
It's really just URLs.
Now, Chris, as an uninformed listener and observer of this podcast who has nothing to do with it whatsoever, can I assume that by listing these games and the fact that they're on sale, that this is a recommendation of the platformers to go buy and play these games?
I would say they're recommendations of mine because they're ones that I pick, but
This is only on Chris.
yeah,
We have nothing to do with
I don't know
this.
about the collective whole, and I mean that.
So why don't we call this?
Chris's deals.
Why don't we call this section Chris's picks and deals of the week?
There you go. Oh, that's so cute.
And
I
then
like
in
it.
subtext, nothing to do with Martin and Brian, and if they're terrible, don't blame us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
in
And I will-
quotes.
I will kick
the
off this
subtext is,
segment.
if I hate these games, trust me, you're going to hear about it.
I will kick off this segment with there's a lot of deals with Lego Dimensions Year 2 that have hit Amazon.
Oh, God. Okay. Strong start.
So there's 5 packs available at the launch of Year 2 for Lego Dimensions. If you go to Amazon, you can pre-order them for 40% off. Among them are Ghostbusters Story Pack, Harry Potter Team Pack, A-Team Fun Pack, Mission Impossible Level Pack, and Adventure Time Team Pack. That one I'm
So-
the most excited for.
Yeah,
Adventure
absolutely.
Time, baby.
Do you need...
Hey, so
there's
you're
a
talking
base
about
game,
Adventure
right?
Time.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, you're talking about Adventure Time, and I don't know if you guys heard that clattering
Yes?
that happened over there. That was my 2 cats, my white cat, Finn, and my orange cat, Jake.
Why you gotta bring
Making a
race
mess.
into this Adventure Time joke?
Why's it gotta be about color?
Why's it gotta be about color,
Because Finn has a white hat and Jake is orange.
Okay.
In the show.
Jake's
all right.
dog. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Marty?
Yes, and Jake acts like a dog. He plays fetch. He growls.
That's pretty awesome. I was just wondering
really weird.
if a little Martin wanted to get into some Lego Dimensions. How does one go about this?
So, you need to get the starter pack
Okay.
for Lego Dimensions. That comes with the game, and then it comes with the portal device. They announced
Like the
it
portal
today. Yeah,
Can I,
it
like,
comes. Well, they have
portals
a
in my
portal.
walls and
There's
stuff?
a portal level pack.
Oh, I'm
You
in.
can get it.
Let's go.
But if you get the year 1 bundles, and it was weird because I think it was like last month, they were really trying to sell a lot of them, and they had dropped the price to like $40, and I was trying to figure out why. Here today, they announced that you can get, if you get it on PS4, you get Supergirl with it as well. And apparently, it's the only place you're going to be able to get her. So she's going to be
With the-
bundled
Lame.
with it
Okay.
as well. So yeah, you need to get the story pack. And then any other level packs will give you like each level pack is typically like an extra hour and a half of like a story driven experience. And then you get a character and vehicle and stuff like that. You don't have to
much-
buy that though.
How much Cashimundo do these level story packs come?
Typically so there's fun packs. They're about I think it's like I'll do manufacturer suggested retail price. So they're
Gotcha.
$7.99.
Okay.
The team packs I think are $19.99 normally. Mm-hmm. And then the level packs they used to be $30. Now I think they have lowered that, or I think maybe they were $25. This one's saying now that it's $17.99.
Oh, wow.
And now they've introduced what's called a story pack, which is basically it's like a whole game, but they're just selling it as a pack, and you basically plug it into Lego Dimensions, and then you just buy those instead of buying like a disc for a Lego game.
Okay, how much
If that makes sense.
are those? $60?
They're $30.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
not bad. And it's more or less a full Lego game?
That's what they've said. What's cool about it is they
Are they
actually
brand
come
new,
with
I'm assuming?
what's that?
They're
The story
brand new.
packs? Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the first time they're doing it.
Okay.
What's really cool about it is they actually come with pieces where you can customize your portal. So like the Ghostbusters story pack comes with one where it's like a Chinese restaurant,
oh, that's awesome.
kind of like the new Ghostbusters. And then
Yeah.
I think there's one for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find
Okay.
Them. They're coming out with one.
Well, I'm in.
Yeah. So
All right,
they're
I
on
might
sale.
have to pick that up. Yeah, that's a good find.
But I'm a big Lego Dimensions guy. Another big one that I found today, I tweeted this out. A PlayStation Vita Wi-Fi. It's $100. It's on eBay.
Ooh.
It's manufactured refurbished. Comes with a 90-day warranty. It comes from Geek Deal. I don't know. Whatever.
If it's
It's a
reputable.
Vita. If you've ever thought about buying
Is this
one,
the
just
slim
buy
or
it.
the fat?
This is the fat.
Okay.
This is
so this is the OLED screen.
Yeah, this is the OLED. So shorter battery life, but really nice screen. I definitely miss my OLED, but the
All
one I
right,
have
good
now
deal,
is
good deal.
I don't
That's-
at all. In my opinion, the slim is way better.
PC people, there's a new Humble Bundle.
Okay.
Ooh, what's going on here?
This is the... Okay, I don't know what... It just says Humble Indie Bundle 17. This comes with Lethal League, The Beginner's Guide, Gallic Z. If you pay $10 or more, you can get Nuclear Throne, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, Octodad Dagley's Catch, which is... I love that game so very deeply.
That's great.
Super Time Force Ultra, and then they still have more games that they have to announce.
Awesome.
Super Time Force Ultra is a fantastic
That game's
game.
great. I played it on, I think it was free on Xbox at one point. With like games
Yes, it
for
was,
gold.
and it was awesome.
Yeah, game's
I mean,
great.
it wasn't... The Ultimate Edition wasn't free. It was the regular edition, but that game was
Right.
fantastic.
That's funny because Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time is definitely my pick. That game is fantastic.
What is that? Like a brief
It's-
synopsis.
It's like a co-op game where you're managing a ship, and like you got to manage your shield. It's like a directional shield, or you got to shoot. Somebody's got a pilot, and you can like move around to the stations.
So,
It's hectic.
have you played...
You can only do a certain amount of things at the same time, but
Yep.
you're being attacked and stuff.
Have you ever played
Yeah,
Aegis
pretty
Wing
crazy.
on Xbox 360? It was a free
I
game.
have not.
Okay. It kind of sounds like that.
Similar.
But
Yeah, it's cute too. Like it's funny and cute. It's definitely a co-op game. So
that's
yeah.
cool.
If you got somebody to play with, check it out.
And then two major ones I just wanted to bring up. These are the last ones that I found just off the cuff. They're both on the PlayStation Store. There's a Telltale sale where it looks like everything but Batman, or a large majority except for Batman, is on sale right now for super duper cheap.
Is it a big bundle, or can you individually pick and choose?
You can individually pick and choose. It's like 20... It's probably like 30 different games. Or 30 different
awesome.
like bundles.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. And then there's a Rockstar sale as well. One thing in here
Ooh, I
that
noticed that.
I want to get... What is it? The Warriors on PS4. I didn't even know that they
Oh.
ported that.
That's
That
cool.
movie and game is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'll
I've
be
never,
picking
I've
that
never
up.
done anything with that.
Yeah,
I'll have
that'll
to
be
check
good.
that out maybe.
I wish I had beer bottles.
Oh, Bully's on PS4?
Also-
What? Oh my god.
What? No, it's
Speaking-
not.
Speaking of
Yeah,
Rockstar.
No way.
I'm looking at it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Sweet. Sorry,
you guys
Brian.
ever
What?
played-
Speaking of Rockstar, I was just gonna say I started Red Dead Redemption this week.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Have you never played it?
So, no.
Oh,
I haven't either.
You're in for
Well,
a
I
treat.
tried and it didn't grab me.
Oh, guys.
It was just a
what are you
bad
doing
time.
with your
It was a bad
lives?
time. I know.
Okay, get back in now that it's backwards compatible.
I know.
I will
It is. That's,
send
and that's
you
where
the
I'm playing
disc.
it. It was like $7 on Xbox 360, and it's backwards compatible. So
Yeah,
I
it's
picked it
perfect.
up.
You like it?
And it came with I think it came with Undead Nightmare, which
Yeah.
I've heard is really good. So far I like it. The controls are a little weird, but I'm just getting used to it. The whole thing is that like you're watching Game of Thrones season 6 has kind of like consumed our life, so I haven't played a whole lot of it just because we're trying to get past the last couple episodes to be caught up on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and
because it's like it's really good.
get
so.
caught up. Get caught up. It's fantastic.
I'm on season 3.
So I may have more to say about Red Dead Redemption next week. But yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, I make no promises, but I would love to maybe do like a interstitial episode. Maybe me and you, Brian, chatting about some Game of Thrones once you finish. I know it's a little late,
Sure.
but I'm sure there's a ton of people that are finishing and maybe want to have some friends to chat about it with. So that'd be
Sure,
cool.
yeah,
Maybe look
that works.
forward to that. Maybe later this week or next.
Sure.
All right. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Anything else we would like to talk about? Is that all the deals?
Yeah, that's all those are the most notable ones I found this week.
All right. I like it.
Okay, man. Well,
Action
as always.
packed, as they say.
Oh yeah. Always action packed over here at the platform, as you guys know.
Yeah.
So as we said earlier, we're now on iTunes, so you can look us up in podcasts. You can search for the platformers. You can find us on Google Play. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on SoundCloud.
Wherever
Did I
you
miss
would
anything,
like.
Chris? We're all over the dadgum internet.
Share,
Yeah.
subscribe, follow us on Twitter at
All over it.
Podcast Pod. Yes.
That is not.
No, that's not it.
Podcast
at
pod
Platformers Pod. Sorry.
at Platformers pod.
We're in a
Podcast
pod,
At
and we're a platformer.
Yeah. At Platformers Pod. If you are interested in anything, you want us to check out any games.
Yeah, you can definitely
wanna
talk to
hear
us
what
there
we think
and-
about all that sort of stuff. I am at Ribnax, RIBNAX.
I am at Shrives93, SHRIVES 93.
And I am at Podcast Martin.
There you go. Oh, man. So this has been episode 7 of The Platformers, and we are out.